Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Freaky Fast broadcast and presentation of 120 laps here at Gateway Speedway. I am joined here with Billy Peter. We have Robert Moyer, as always, in our production booth, and I am Carl Pooler, ready to call the race. Billy, you're new here, but we know we have some great drivers. Welcome to the broadcast. Are you excited for tonight or what?
Oh, totally, man. I'm totally can't wait to get this race underway tonight. It's going to be a fun-filled, short track action. It's going to be a great one here at WTF.
That's good to hear. So here we are. We are in practice right now. We only have a couple minutes left, and we are going to be going on to qualifying. But as always, the drivers we have to watch out for, Mark Whitley, he has gone back-to-back so far this season, but as we're looking at the scoreboard here at the moment, looks like Loveland is in third in the 56. We are having the 25 going along, trying to get his time in. So looking at the scoreboard and all these cars, it looks like this track is a little loose, and these guys are really struggling as we see a little bit of the backfire out of there, and they're really going up to the wall, so they're really charging these corners hard, Billy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you look at tonight, if we're going to have green flag pit stops, which we should, coming down pit road, making sure you don't speed, get a penalty or blow a tire or something like that. So these guys are going to have to be patient here tonight.
And patience is the key. And as always, the Underdog Racing League is brought to you by Ultimate Gutters and Siding. We know the business and we can take care of you. Ultimate Gutters and Siding always brings the great action-packed racing here at Underdog. So here we are and ready to go. Closing minutes of practice. So here we are. We have the stage break at lap 30 and then again at lap 70. So these drivers will be going to make pushes really hard to get those stage points. Mark Whitley has a sizable lead, but it's still early in the race, and it's anyone's game at the moment.
Yeah, you don't want to give up, and you just want to keep practicing, keep driving. Even if you have a racing incident on there and your car is still able to drive, you keep going, man. You keep going because you never know what's going to happen.
Definitely, you want to keep going. And so we have all our drivers ready to go. Ready to race, and letting you know a lot of racing is going to go on. We have 120 laps total. That stage 3 is going to be 50 laps. I think the first couple of stages we will be fine, but I think that green flag pit stop is going to come at in that third stage. So definitely, like you said, Billy, got to be careful and ready for those green flag pit stops.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be key, making adjustments to, especially if you're in the backfield there, trying to search and get your way to the top. And hopefully these guys could gain some spots on the leader and not have too many incidents tonight.
And keeping an incident count low is going to be key. You want to keep the car all together, all clean, and you never want to be caught in issues. We have seen Fensler get unlucky, get caught up in things, and that has caused him to kind of dip down in points. He's about third at the moment, about 29 points out. Mark Whitley, again, in first with 26-point gap. So definitely points are going to be key. But as we talking here, qualifying cars already get on the track. I think getting qualifying in and getting a good lap filled position is going to be key, but definitely want to put down that fast time.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get that good time so you get a good starting position. Being up front might be the best way, but some people start from the back too. So it's going to be great here tonight. A lot of action, especially making sure you don't hit the apron or coming out of turn 2 there, where the wall separates. Those areas there could be difficult to tame.
And definitely, this is a relatively flat track, really long, elongated straightaways. It kind of seems like a intermix between Martinsville and Dover. Tire wear is going to be key, and again, fuel, we have about 60-65% fuel load here, so definitely strategy could come into play later on in the race.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at here, and I believe it's St. Louis here, this track is it difference with the time temperatures too. So the track temperature could play a role in this race here tonight.
Hello, everybody. This is Zach Hall. Joining him up in the booth also here tonight. Is that Will Carl's having some technical issues on his side there, so he's going to try to iron that out for himself before he can get back up here. But yeah, Billy, looking at it myself here, I was doing some numbers while I was sitting back here watching you guys talk, and man, it's looking like 36 to 37 laps on a tank of fuel. So that last stage definitely going to have to involve a green flag pit stop, and that's what's going to change things up. Is right now we're going through this qualifying session here, as we got about 2 minutes and 28 seconds in. It's about halfway through, and some good times rolling through. Cedric Hunter not matching his practice time, but able to put himself at the top of the board here in the 13 machine.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good lap there, and looks like Hunter is going to be pretty tough. So we'll see what happens here with the rest of the guys in qualifying here tonight.
As the rest of the field looks to continue to put times through here through the leaderboard. It's our top 23 right now putting times through. As you can see it continually change here. Trevor Earhart, our champion from last season, he's able to jump up to 3rd. Ian Baker there in the 8 machine. He's in that 4th position along with Ray Lane there in 5th. But as we say that, Jason Finsler jumps to 2nd on the board. What a job by him in that machine. And we know how quick he is there with a great time in the 5 machine.
Yeah, looking good, putting down good laps right now, overall 3rd. So, yeah, I mean, you want to be up top in the front and try to get the most points you can.
Staying up front will definitely be a key, and that's what qualifying is known to help for. So we'll have to see which drivers can maybe jump themselves farther up, as I believe Jason Finsler here coming by for a 2nd lap. We'll see what that 2nd lap does. Just a little bit slower there, but still able to take that 2nd position as Cedric Hunter holds on to the top spot. Joey Stires there. He's looking for a good rebound after a bump last week. Took him out of a good running there at the Auto Club Speedway, as he's put a time in now for the 7th position. As the times continue to click through, only one driver yet to qualify with 1 minute to go. Doesn't look like he's out on the track, so he may not be placing a time there in the 31, Ryan Twynham.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. Who gets the pole? Looking pretty good now for the 25 car up in the 1st place, as we're going to be getting ready to go racing here very shortly.
Racing right around the corner here for race number 3 of the Underdog Racing League's Xfinity Series here tonight at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. And what a interesting track here for these guys tonight. And one thing I know we're going to have to watch out for, just from the past experience myself from this racetrack, is some drivers I think are going to be electing to downshift down into 1. I haven't looked into it too far yet to see if anybody is doing that yet. But man, that's something that these guys could be utilizing. But down 3 and 4, they're going to be staying in that 4th gear, trying to utilize that lower power to get off the lower bank corners. And that's one thing that's very interesting about this track, Billy. It's a completely different side of the track, racetrack, kind of like Darlington.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would say Darlington there, and especially when you're coming off turn 1, and if you hit that apron the right way, or you run over the rumble strips, your night is not going to be fun.
Not going to be a fun night indeed, but I tell you what, it's a great time there for Cedric Hunter to put himself on pole. As our qualifying session has come to the end, we're going to look to pull our starting grid up here tonight at the Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Underdog Racing League for race number 3 of their season. There it is. Cedric Hunter up atop the board in the 13 machine. 2nd place is going to go to Jason Finsler in the 5. 3rd is going to be Mark Whitley, our 2-time winner this season to start off this season. 4th is going to go to Trevor Earhart. 5th place is going to go to Ray Lane. 6th is going to be the 8 of Ian Baker. 7th is going to go to Joey Stires. 8th is going to be James Loveland. 9th is going to go to Parker Johnston. 10th place there, around out that top 10 is going to be Nick Alves. The 11th place man is going to be Brad Ringer. 12th is going to go to Justin Stunner. 13th is going to go to James Catrone. 14th, Kevin Orlando Jr. 15th is going to be Grant Thorpe. 16th, David Welch. 17th, Martin Morales Jr. 18th is going to go to Justice Murphy. 19th, Tyler Dingler. Around out the top 20 is going to be Jacob Sekovich. 21st, going to go to Eddie Wilderman. 22nd, Cody Dorsey. 23rd, going to go to Christopher Heights. 24th, Dylan Walterman. 25th, going to go Blake Cook. 26th, Scott Kerberg. 27th, Peyton Presley. 28th, Sean Husteller. And 29th, rounding out our 29 cars here tonight at the Worldwide Technology Raceway of Ryan Twyman in the 31 machine. A lot of drivers out here tonight, Billy, ready to do battle here at this wild and interesting racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to get going here. We're going to be getting going here shortly here as the drivers are now taking the field and driving around with the pace car. So it's getting ready to rumble here at good WTF.
Definitely going to be a race that rumbles along for sure. We're going to watch as these drivers try to get to that lap 30 stage. And what's going to be interesting about that, no problems there for me getting to fuel there with this 60% fuel load here tonight. Like I said, about 36 laps is what I believe they can do. It's going to be that second stage where they have to go a 40-lap run from lap 30 to 70, but they will have the caution laps in between to help them, so it's going to be close. We're going to have to watch what exactly plays out there for these drivers. But I tell you what, Billy, it's going to be a fun one on here all night long. Thank you all for tuning in here, as always, at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been a pleasure to call the start of the season so far. Let's see if a new winner can break into the victory lane here and get themselves in position to get a victory, because Mark Whitley so far has been on a roll here, winning the first two races. The pace car is going to pull in for the first time here tonight. We're getting ready to start our 120 laps here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Green flag is in the air. Cedric Hunter is off and away with the 5, and Jason Fitzgerald alongside. Looks like the 13 with a good launch. Mark Willie, though, in the 6, going to look to follow the 13 through.
Yeah, coming around to turn 1, here it is. Critical moment here, guys, as they head around to the backstretch. It's the 5 car with the lead right now, followed by the 13 on through the backstretch.
Down the backstretch they go. Mark Whitley there, drop back to that 3rd spot. Now has a couple car links back, but Jason Finsler able to take that lead through 1 and 2. What a job by him here early in the going to get the track position taken away from the 13. And so far we're seeing him sliding off of 4 here as we start complete lap number 1.
Yeah, coming down to lap 1, they're going to get their first bonus points coming around in here. That's more important here tonight. How many cautions will we see here tonight? It's going to be very interesting here in St. Louis.
Cautions are definitely going to be a thought, I believe, here. It's a 1.25 mile racetrack, but at the same time, I think it has a lot of short track mentality to it. And I think you're going to see a little bit of beating and banging here as we head through lap number 2 complete. It looks like the pressure is on for second again throughout the field. Everybody all stacked up on top of each other as Jason Finsler looks to run away.
Yeah, coming around, continuing the roll around. He's doing a fine job there. Look at the number 23 car. We're going through the backfield here a little bit and scrolling through the field, and the 44 there getting in there and doing really well.
Yeah, Ray Lane definitely a great driver we've seen so far early in the season. Have a lot of speed in that 44 machine. Ian Baker's another driver who's returned back to the Underdog recently. He was with us past seasons ago. Now he's back, but he gets a little mistake off of 4. That gives the 23 Joey Steyers the position down here and the 1 to make the position here. Can he get it done? But it looks like the 8 going to have the outside run. Here's the caution flag flies here. First caution of the night. We're going to see exactly what is played out here to bring this caution out.
Yeah, going to see here what our first question is going to be. First one of the night. And I guess no green flag racing here.
Yeah, early caution here in stage 1. Billy definitely has brought that early yellow out that these drivers possibly didn't want to see. But it looks like the 9 here of Justice Murphy is going to be our first driver of the night involved in an incident. He bounced off the wall here in 4, off the wall, down into the inside wall. And, man, early damage for Justice Murphy. One fast repair here for this league, Billy, but you don't want to be using it here in stage 1, possibly.
No, definitely not. You definitely don't want to use it here. Car's looking not too bad, so we'll see what happens here for the 9 car. Hopefully it's not too much damage here on Freaky Fast Racing Broadcast Network.
Yeah, it's been a wild start so far with that early caution here, but that's going to bring everybody back together. We've seen Jason Finsler kind of stretch his legs there from the lead. We saw the battle heating up for a second there as Mark Whitley put the pressure on the 13 of Cedric Hunter. Trevor Earhart there was able to slot himself in the 4th along with Ray Lane there in 5th. Is our top 5 are all the drivers who started in that spot, but there was some drivers that were making big moves, guys taking chances. I look back at the 3 of Jacob Sekovich. He made up 3 positions on that start of the race there, so he was already slicing and dicing through. It looks like Blake Cook made up 4, so definitely some big movers throughout the field already, and it just shows you here this caution. Restarts are the easiest place to make passes. They could be making some more positions here very easily.
Yeah, definitely. People got to take advantage of this, and then see how many people are going down pit road and make some adjustments, or possibly even getting tires tonight. So we'll see.
As we continue on our pace laps here, it's been an interesting start to tonight's race, so we might as well give an early shout out to one of our amazing sponsors here, and that's ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. You can head on over to ButtKicker.com there and use our promo code FreakyFast20 to get 20% off of any purchase there at ButtKicker.com of any product they have. So make sure you head on over there to ButtKicker.com and you can feel what you've been missing. And I tell you, that would be a definite addition to the rumble of these race cars around this racetrack. So it would definitely be awesome for you all to go check that out. But thank you again to ButtKicker for being a proud sponsor of Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been the first caution tonight to bring us back all together, as I believe we're going to get the 1 to green here, and we'll get them all lined back up.
Yep, restack, double stack, get them all stacked up, re-racked, and ready to get these drivers for some more racing here. We still got a long way to go tonight here at St. Louis.
Still definitely a long way to go. Still a long way to the stage here. As remember, that doesn't come till lap number 30 here tonight. And it looks like the lights are still on the pace truck. So we're going to go a whole nother pace lap here. So this is definitely, no fuel mileage concerns for these drivers here in this stage. But I tell you, in that final stage of this race, a caution like this could help fuel mileage stakes for drivers. And the way it could play out, we could be seeing a fuel mileage race not only in stage 2, but possibly down to the end of this race. So cautions like this will help these drivers save fuel.
Yeah, they definitely need to save some fuel here tonight. And the more cautions you have, the less fuel that you're going to have.
As we're looking out here, thank you all for tuning in here tonight, out there chatting it up here at Underdog Racing League, as we're here at Gateway again here, and gotta give a shout out again to the Ultimate Siding and Gutter LLC, as they are the sponsor here at the Underdog Racing League, and they are always bringing great sponsorship backing to these guys here. And I'll definitely send them a special shout out as now the pace car lights finally click off. We're going to go back green flag racing next time by. It looks like Jason Fensler, though, elected to take the outside lane. A little bit of an interesting decision, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I would have took the inside there, but it looks like he's going for the outside and try to make his way and see what he could do. Seems like his crew chief is telling him, hey, let's take the outside here and see what we can do.
It's going to be a interesting restart here with the leader taking the outside lane here, but we're going to shoot it back up to Carl Pooler, as I think he's got his technical issues sorted out. And Carl, welcome back up here, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Zach, and thank you, Billy. Ready to go here. Green lights are out on that pace truck. So first caution, we are 8 laps in. Jason Fensler making an interesting move and taking that outside line, but we know 1 and 2 is really much more narrower than 3 and 4. That high line can provide a little more grip and a little more momentum and maybe possibly save those tires, but as the pace truck comes off on the track, Barney has the green flag out and ready to go, and they are pedal to the metal. Restart. Lap number 9 from the first caution incident of the 9 of Justice Murphy, but the 5 gets out to a rocket lead there with the 13 of Cedric Hunter right behind him. 25, our last year's season winner of Trevor Earhart inside Mark Whitley. He's been strong too these past couple of races. He's won both races, so a lot of these guys racing hard up front already. They know that stage break is coming, and we all also know that the fuel window is right where they want to be, so they are pushing as hard as they can, Billy, and they are trying to get whatever they can out of that car.
Yeah, they certainly are. Definitely trying to put on a show here tonight, and they're going to do it here. So we got a race for second here with the 13 car going around the 6 car here. Oh, we have a spin, it looks like. Big crash, 2-car collision. And this is going to bring out our second caution here tonight, here at lap 10.
And lap 10 second caution. These guys, again, are racing hard, and this track is very difficult. It's 3 and 4 are extremely different than 1 and 2. A lot of these tires are still cold, but we're going to go back to our Freaky Fast instant replay and see what the trouble was here. I think we have the 25 of Trevor Earhart. We have the 44 of Ray Lane. Ray Lane looks to take the inside, gets into that corner panel of the 25 and sends him over and through the corner. We have the 8 of Ian Baker right there, 23 of Joey Styres, the 56 of James Lovin, and it looks like we do have a collision also between the 44 and the 25. So we don't want to use those faster pairs just yet, but man, these cars are already taking some damage and rubbing up against each other. This is really not giving any space between the drivers tonight on the track.
No, definitely not. And with this track being short and shallow, there's really no places for drivers to go here. So a big mess, in an accident here, and then that just brought up a lot of drivers hitting each other.
And that's what causes so many issues. All these drivers beating and banging against each other, trying to get the inside lane, it seems, the favorable lane. But all of these drivers really trying to focus on points. Ian Baker, he's in the hunt. Joey Styres, he had a good run at Daytona. So a lot of these drivers up front, we've seen up front all season. But 13 is Cedric Connor. He's a newcomer to the league, but he's been able to hang with the likes of Jason Fensler, Mark Whitley, Trevor Earhart. Ian Baker is new as well. He's kind of down there in the points, but always early in the season. Never too early, never too late to get points. We do have 2 stages every race plus 2 at this one. And speaking of, we are about 18 laps from our lap 30 stage break. So a lot of these guys were really pushing hard because everyone's bunched together, Billy, on the restart. So you think that's the best opportunity, the best way to pass your competitors?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you get up in that race start, but what people have to remember, drivers have to remember, you got to be patient. And right there was really no patience in there, and that's what caused that big wreck and took out a couple cars.
Patience again. They can never be too patient in any kind of racing, really. You got to be prepared and just kind of bide your time, wait for that move. Sometimes you can press the driver in front of you to make that mistake, and then you can capitalize. You don't want to make a mistake and put you and yourself and your competitor in a situation that you're going to regret, like we just saw. So a lot of these guys not very patient. I'm seeing some aggressiveness. I think the lap 30, we're already about lap 13 into the race. So already 2 cautions. These laps are ticking by really, really quick, and these drivers don't think that they have the patience to wait and let the race form. They're making their moves and making them now.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So, that's what they got to do. They got to make their moves. Oh, hold on one second here.
And, the 5 of Jason Fensler we saw there early on, he really started really well in that last restart, really had about 3 or 4 car gap between him and the 13 of Cedric Connor. So everyone wants to get in front of Fensler. Everyone knows he's the competitor to beat. He's the one you want to, mix it up with, but you never know when you have that car or, when the 5 can get into, sketchy situation like he has the past couple weeks and get taken out. So you always want to capitalize, but sometimes you push it a little too hard and things don't go your way.
Yeah, definitely not. So I'm having a little technical difficulty here.
Yeah. And now we have Billy having some technical issues. Rough day on the internet for sure. But we are racing. We're going to bring Zach in to kind of help us iron this out. But Zach, what do you think of the racing we've seen so far?
Well, I tell you, it's definitely been wild so far. It just shows you this track is very tough, man. It's one of those places where there's 2 different corners, so you got to really change your mentalities in both the corners, how you race your competition. And sometimes we see incidents like that right there, and I was up front that brought that out. So it's definitely getting a little spicy, I believe.
and up front, and that was right around for fourth or fifth. So these guys are already struggling and scrabbling for points, but the lights on the pace truck are out. So as we are going into three for the green flag, these guys, again, the 6 of Mark Whitley, the 8 of Ian Baker, always seem to be fast. Whitley trying to go for the hat trick, go for 3 in a row. But as the round turn 4, the pace truck is going to take the hard left into pit lane, and they are raring to go. Green flag in hand of Barney, and there we go. We have green flag waving in the air, and these guys are rocketing to turn 1. And again, Jason Fensler with a great restart.
Yeah, definitely a big three-hole gap right now between first and second. So, yeah, that 5 car is looking pretty sharp here tonight. Here at second.
And then that number 6 of Mark Whitley's inside of the 8 of Ian Baker. Looks like Ian's going to make the pass, but he's not going to give it to him. Going into 3, he's going to dive it down really deep into 3, but Ian's going to take that high line around in the exit of 4, going to try and carry that momentum. But it looks like he's going to actually lose a little bit of time as the exits turn 4. A lot of these drivers jostling for position. The 23 of Joey Stires now going to make a pass on the 8 of Ian Baker. And this is for 4th. And then the 56 of James Loveland right there behind him.
Yeah, he's right there. He's trying to keep up with these guys and try to make it a big, try to make up some time and get up to the front.
It's all about making up time to the leader, and it looks like we're starting to single out. So these drivers are starting to get their cars on them. Now they're not necessarily side by side, trying to get into that rhythm. But here we are, lap 17. Already 13 laps away from the stage break. I feel like a lot of these guys already feel the pressures. We can see a couple of groups there, a couple of groups here. The first of Jason Fensler, then the 13 and the 6 of Mark Whitley all together. And these guys are really trying to dive it really down deep there into 3, it looks like. But they're holding on, and the inside line seems preferable. There have been a couple of cars to try the outside line, but it hasn't really stuck so far.
No, definitely not. And that 5 car, our race leader, Jason Fensler, he has opened up a 1.5 second lead between first and second right now with Cedric Hunter.
And that's not what you want to see as we have the 6 of Mark Whitley start to battle for that second position. Sticks his nose at the inside of the 13, but couldn't quite make the pass. We saw that incident with Ray Lane and Trevor Earhart earlier, and that was a really wise move of Mark Whitley to pull out of that pass. He knows, he has it in his mind. He's up in the top 3. It is a long race, so he decided to make better of it and maybe set himself up for another pass on 13.
Yeah, so what these guys have to do, they have to, get into a single line, try to use the draft to catch the race leader, or otherwise the race leader is going to be gone.
Ooh, you just mentioned draft at a short track, Billy. That's not what you normally hear, but here at a 1.25 miles, it's really easy to lose the draft and get damaged. So we're looking at the really sharp paint scheme of the 24 of Nick Alves, behind the 84 of Cody Dorsey. These guys have been racing hard, and they've been racing really clean so far. A couple of mix-ups earlier on in the stage in the race, but they seem to have gotten all their issues sorted out, at least for the moment, and using that patience as we talked about earlier. And then as we are going through the field of 38, going pretty sharp. I love the chrome colors recently, and then they released them. 38 of James Catrone. He's also in the playoff hunt as well. He's in, I think, 4th, a couple of points back. So James Catrone really fighting hard for points. And there he is, the 84, Cody Dorsey, making the pass on the 52. He has some speed here tonight. Cody Dorsey really running well so far and not having too many issues. The 99 of Dylan Walterman. He was a force to be reckoned with at the Talladega, the premiere, but didn't have the speed last week. He's hoping to try and make a recovery this week.
Making a big recovery definitely will be in his plans for sure here tonight, Carl. And one driver I'm seeing start to drop back from, he made some spots up, but looks like he's starting to drop back now is right behind there. That's the 94 Sean Husteller. So unfortunately for Sean there, he started 28th, made his way farther up there to the top 20, but has dropped himself back now.
And, you know, tires are so important at a track like this, very flat, very tight in turns 1 and 2, so it's very easy to overheat these tires and make them wear out. And I think it is a possible issue with the Sean Husteller. But as these cars keep going, I don't think lap 22, 23, we have 7 laps until this stage. With this last green flags run, do you think, Zach, that they have what they need in their arsenal of knowledge to know what these cars are going to go like, or is that just too short of a run?
It's tough to say there, Carl, man. I would see a little contact even farther back to the field for a few drivers. It's always tough to say here. It's kind of on the fly type of deal here where the drivers are going to make those decisions when they need to make them. As right now, I mean, up front, Jason Fiddler's still got a strong stranglehold, but the rest of this field continues to battle on through. As Chris Trice there to 21, he makes the pass there on the 26 Eddie Woodruff, who also lets Peyton Preston in the 11 almost come through here as he tries to make the pass. And I don't know, maybe Woodruff thought for a second maybe they cut back under him here down in the 1.
And that's just a case that you can lose so much. You have one bad corner entry or a bad corner exit, and you're going to lose a ton of time here. It's we were talking about, it looks like we see the 44. He's a lap or so down with the incident earlier. He's trying to recover from that. But these guys are really trying to understand and maintain the tires as well as get through each other, and just trying to cycle through and getting at their spot on the track. I think is important, as we always talk about track position because we're watching the 48er Parker Johnson go into 1. It's hard to say how these drivers are going to approach this race with already 2 cautions early.
2 cautions definitely early in the go, and has shook this first stage up here, Carl, and we're going nearing that 5 to go here point to lap 30 point. And what it looks like right now, though, time-wise, it's starting to seem like Cedric Hunter are in that second position. At least that time by was slower, but a couple times before that, he was just as quick, if not as quick as our leader, Jason Fizzler. So maybe see that gap closed down possibly a little bit here as this stage comes to a close. But Grant Thorpe here, 15th to 11th for him. He's trying to break his way up here to the top 10. He's got the 38 of James Catrone directly ahead.
All that James Catrone is in 10th. The 77 and the 38 are going to be fighting for that last stage point. Coming at lap 30. So we're about 2-3 laps until the stage, as we see the 38 make a huge mistake going into 3, washed up the track. Just a huge amount there. Lets the 77 catch up right into his bumper, but looks like he was able to gather it up and has that corner exit speed. And as they go into turn 1, you mentioned it earlier, maybe downshifting. It's so hard to do because when you downshift, you have a possibility of breaking those tires loose and just really upsetting the car. So it's hard to say if any of these drivers are doing that, but that would definitely be a risky strategy to do, especially this early on in the race.
Yeah, it's something that is pretty common at this racetrack, especially down into 1 and 2 there. I mean, with the gearing, you have to run for 3 and 4 to make the car not, in these long straightaways. Also, you almost have to go down a gear just because you lose so little RPM there, and it's just bogs down there. You're going to see some guys definitely electing to do that, and some drivers not. It is a technical aspect, and I think that's why a lot of drivers who actually excel at the road courses and tracks such as that where you have to downshift, they actually can carry some of that over into this track and help them out here.
Well, the race leaders are spread out pretty good. Back in the 6th position with the number 8 of Eden Baker and Brad Ringler, they're doing a battle for position before the stage here ends here in the first one.
And again, those stage points so important, but the 5 of Finsler still has about a second lead over the 13 of Hunter, but the Hunter has been gaining a little bit of time, but it's just not going to matter this late in the run. Lap 29 coming down to lap 30, our stage break as Jason Finsler crosses the start finish. Definitely expecting that caution for the stage break to come any second now. And like I said, top 10 get points. James Catrone looks like we'll be able to hold off the 77 of Grant Thorpe. to keep on that last stage point. But these guys already fighting hard with 2 cautions already earlier today.
Yeah, and if we go back to the race for ninth, Justin Stenard, the 33 car and the 38 car, they're battling back there. They're going back and forth trying to get that ninth position.
Justin Stunner definitely battling hard as he has had a rough start of this season. He's had some issues at Talladega. He had issues last week, so he's definitely looking to make a good run already in the top 10 for this race, ending the first stage as the yellow has just come out. Looks like we're going to have Fensler, Hunter, Mark Whitley, James Loveland, and Ian Baker rounding out your top 5 finishers of this stage.
Stage 1 done. We have 2 more stages to go here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway.
And ladies and gentlemen, hold on. We are going to take a quick break. We will be back shortly after this quick little break. And welcome back here at the Underdog Racing League, where we have just thrown out the caution for stage 1 at lap 30. Jason Fensler winning that stage, but a hard charge later on by the 13 is Cedric Hunter. 2 cautions early on, definitely some interesting racing as some of these drivers are trying to figure out what the car is doing. I do know that they have talked about it being really tight, maybe turning loose early on as the tires wear, but as we see the pace truck go around, the lights are off, we are about to go green, Billy. What do you expect on this restart?
I expect these guys to just come out and blaring out racing. They've been doing that all tonight. Hopefully there's some patience here to keep the green flag going here and keep rocking and rolling here at the Worldwide Technology.
And an interesting development you guys see there, the Mark Whitley, number 6 of Mark Whitley is in that lead spot. Looks like Jason Fensler might have had some issues on and off pit road, putting him in the back. So this will be interesting. These last couple of restarts, we have seen the number 5 just shoot out to a great restart, but we have now the 6 in front of him of Mark Whitley, and then the 13 of Cedric Hunter on the outside. Looks like Cedric Hunter might have actually chosen that outside line, but the pace truck makes that hard left onto pit lane, and we are going green here again at Worldwide Technology Speedway. That's outside lane shooting off again, so already developing a pattern here. The 5 and the 13 really enjoying the launch in that outside lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job for Cedric Hunter there as he opens up a 2-car length lead over Mark Whitney, followed by James Loveland and Jason Fencer.
And I'm getting an update. Looks like Mark Whitley pit early. He's short started, so he is going to push the envelope with this pit stop. So we're going to be definitely close on fuel. But so far, strategy worked out as he is on the bumper of the 13 of Cedric Hunter. So he has reeled the leader in, and he is looking to make a pass. This is going to be interesting because the 6 is going to have a little more laps on that tank of fuel, but right on his rear end is the 5 of Jason Fensler, followed by the 56 of James Loveland, and again the 8 of Ian Baker. So these guys not as spread out as last time, but again looks kind of uneventful. We're looking at the 76 of Brad Ringer in 6th. A lot of these guys decided to kind of get side by side early on and maybe see what run they can make early in this second stage.
Yeah, I mean, here's a good strategy here right now. You don't want to try to get side by side. You want to stay signal file. You want to be able to catch the race leaders, so there's not that big of a gap that they had early on, in the first stage.
And you want to take advantage, though. You don't want to be too close because these cars can be hard to see over that rear spoiler. You miss your mark just a little bit. There is an issue. We've seen it before already earlier tonight. So these guys are definitely trying to stay nice and clean as we're looking at the 27 of Cameron Orlando Jr. He's had an even night. He started 14th. He's in 14th. So he's kind of just stuck in that spot. But that's in some ways got to be a little disheartening. He hasn't moved up, but at the same time, he hasn't moved back. Still early in this race. We're still less than halfway. So maybe strategy could play to his strength.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, you don't want to use up your car as well. If you start using up your car now, you're not going to be good for the end of the race. So maybe he's holding back a little bit just so he could gain the advantage later on.
And we are discussing, looks like the 6 got really close to the 13 of Cedric Hunter. And it looks like Jason Fensler's going to get to the inside of Mark Whitley. So what started as a battle for the lead is now a battle for second as Jason Fensler decides to get in line for looks like turn 3. But these guys racing really clean, actually, not getting really close to each other, pushing each other really hard, but not any actual contact as James Loveland is kind of just sitting back there looking to maybe hope these guys resolve whatever they're trying to resolve and maybe take advantage of what that result may be.
So here's the battle for second. A little nudge there by the 5. So maybe he's trying to get in there and get right back up to the front as the top 3 drivers have been pretty close here. But it looks like the 13 car of Cedric Hunter has opened up to about a car length's lead over second place Mark Whitney.
And as we ride along with the 56 of James Loveland. We saw Jason Fensler kind of get wide there going into 3, so that lost a little bit of time. The 6 is right on the 13's bumper. He gives him a nice little shove into turn 1, making him go a little wide, but it looks like Mark Whitley following also in those tracks. So these guys are really applying the pressure, getting a little more finesse behind that wheel, but definitely, again, that pressure, wanting to either, maybe give your opponent a little help into the corner, or maybe just willing to wait until your opponent makes that mistake. Billy, I think these guys, it's all a balancing game at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we were just at the cockpit view there, and the cockpit, just showing everybody, hey, what's going on in the racetrack and how cool it is. Take a look at the 19 now, and the 52, I think it is, back there racing, having a good time with that Napa machine looking car there.
The 19 of Tyler Dangler, he has made that outside work a couple times. I've seen him make that move earlier on in the race, and it worked well. With the 25 of David Buell right behind him, looking to try and take that spot back with a hard dive into 3. But I think that's really high entry into 3s helping out the 19 as he is going to try and maintain that position. But that 52 is going to take that position away. Maybe not, but as we watch, here's a dead heat across the start-finish line between the 52 and the 19.
Yeah, good battle back there. They're having fun, going outside, going inside. A lot of drivers having different ways to get around this track here at the Worldwide Technology.
These guys, it looks like David Buell's going to dip down behind. The 6 is trying to get an inside move on the 13, so the battle for the lead is heating up once again. The 6 really not giving any room for that 13. That 13 got to have that, absolute mirror full of the 6 behind him as we are on board the bumper cam of the 6 machine. But the 18 able to get a good exit off of 2, but I think the 6 is stronger in 3 and 4. So 2 ends of the track, 2 different handling, really dynamics of the cars. We watch and ride along. The 6 gets such a great entry into 3, but 18 can get an exit off. So this is already fun to watch, and I think this is a great show for everyone on board.
Yeah, definitely getting that bumper view, and you see that view of how close they're getting. It's just a really amazing shot, and the amount of camera shots that you have here to look, especially racing, and makes you want to feel like you're driving the car.
That's always what we look for. But the top 5 have kind of broken away from the rest of the pack, but they're all in line. Looks pretty evenly spaced behind them, but the 76, they're in 6th, really in front of James Quattrone. He has gained a couple of spots since the stage break, so he is one of those drivers that is looking for points. He is in the top 4 in points, and he's definitely trying to capitalize. And as we're riding along, you can see that group of the first 5 drivers in front of him. The 76 there, 38 in 7th. They're really not spacing themselves out as they did on that last run. Definitely racing really tight, though, as we see the 5 there up in front getting a little wide on the corner as the 4th caution comes out for an incident. So we are going to get right on that on the Freaky Fast. I don't know what happened. Might have been on the backstretch of this Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Yeah, we also have our first victim tonight with engine problems for Trevor Earnhardt. He is out of the race. That's the driver of the 25 car. He is on pit road, and it looks like he is done for tonight.
And as we're looking, it looks like the 4 getting into the wall there, having some issues. Getting a little bit of contact. Maybe wasn't quite as clear as he thought he was, but getting up and stopping right there on the entry of 3. So already Blake Cook having issues. 4 cautions already in the race. We're about halfway through this run of stage 2. I don't see anyone wanting to pit here. We still have about, 22 laps. I think what this caution really helps is Mark Whitley. He pit a little earlier. He short pitted the field at the beginning of the stage. So I think that's ultimately will help the most, because he's definitely in the hot seat as far as fields goes.
Well, here comes the 9, Justin Murphy. He's coming down pit road. here at lap 49. So he's going to come in, get some service here, get some service. The 19 car comes down as well, the 23 car, the 21 car. So guys are either taking tires or making some adjustments to help them out here as they continue here in stage 2.
Ever-changing strategy. That's what we love about racing. Some of the drivers in the back saying, "Oh, we're not in position for it. We're not in points position." They're mixing it up on strategy, trying to fill up. Maybe try to flip the field, depending on how the cautions go. We've already had 4. 3 have been for incident, with only 1 for the stage break. So these guys are really having issues. This track is really narrow, and a lot of these drivers maybe struggling with the fact that there's not as much space that they thought there is out there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely this track gets you a little, it gets you short. You run out of room pretty quick. So if you get double stacked or if there's an incident on the track, it's possible that you may get collected.
And then with that incident, you always want to have track position. It looks like the 38 of James Quattrone, again, he's in 7th when that caution came out. He's going to get a really good shot at the inside line. He's going to probably end up inside of the 44 of Ray Lane. He's looking to gain and capitalize on the field being so condensed and maybe getting a couple more points before the stage. And we did see it last year where 2 points separated the champion. So every point counts, and I think the 38 is aware of that.
Yeah, most definitely. You got to get the most points you can. The back half of the drivers, they need to make their adjustments so they could charge up forward. So it should be pretty interesting here once we get going back to green here with Cedric Hunter showing the race leader here at Worldwide Technology.
And I am super curious to see what lane he chooses. It looks like he will choose that outside lane again. That has been the lane of choice for the restarts. We were mentioning it earlier. I think you, Billy, you mentioned it. It wouldn't be what you have done, but these guys have found something in the outside line, at least for the restarts. So maybe there is a little bit of an edge to be had up there. Maybe later on the race as the rubber starts kind of getting into the track later on. But again, at the same time, it's a cool night. Grip shouldn't really be an issue. The drivers were complaining about these cars are being really tight earlier, so maybe that could be contributing to some of their issues.
Yeah, I mean, definitely track temperature is definitely going to change things in the race car, give you that grip that you need, and the cooler track, so it's not going to be slick.
And I am getting some info from our pit reporter, Zach Hall. Interesting info, too. Cedric Hunter, Mark Whitley, our 1 and 2 drivers, are downshifting into 1. They're trying to get that launch off. Jason Fensler isn't, but he is a solid 3rd. He's been up there and really battling the 6th, especially. So it's interesting how he is not shifting and maintaining pace, but also he is going to be a little bit better on fuel. He won't be downshifting, causing a little more RPM. Even that little bit can cause all the difference. But these guys are side by side. The lights on the pace truck are out, and again we are getting ready to go green here at Worldwide Technology Raceway in St. Louis. Definitely a great race so far, but Cedric Hunter off really quick into first place, and he launches extremely quickly in that outside lane early on. But there's a 38 at Quattrone, definitely trying to take advantage of points, making an inside pass on the 76 here early on the restart.
Yeah, I mean, there they go. They're going to be 2x2. This is where the action is going to be right now. Here in the back as the leaders have stretched it out here a little bit. But yeah, you're getting some great action here tonight in the back, trying to get some points and try to better themselves here in this season.
And then look at that, the 44 of Ray Lane. We have been keeping an eye on him. He was caught up in an earlier incident. He's going to try and make the pass inside of the 38 of James Quattrone going into turn 1. That outside lane, though, seems to prevail on corner exit, but 44 is not going to give him any room. But again, we are seeing a break between the top 5 and the rest of the field. It looks like the 8 of Ian Baker is going to try and make a move on the inside of the 56 of James Loveland. And these guys really dicing back and forth. 38 of Quattrone going to lose that position there to Ray Lane. So Ray Lane making a really nice recovery from an incident earlier.
Yep, he's doing what he needs to do, making those adjustments in the pit lane, and now it seems to be made the right ones as he's surging to the front.
And as he's surging to the front, I'm seeing, as we're on board, I'm seeing a lot of different lines starting to develop from this track. Some of them are entering it really low and kind of trying to carry the momentum and exit high. Some of them are entering a little higher and trying to get a little earlier and dive down maybe a late apex into some of these corners. And these guys are actually making it work. Again, those top 5, there's about 2 or 3 different lines between them. So these guys are really trying to explore the track, find that grip, and find that extra edge to pass their competitors.
Yeah, and going into these turns, you don't want to be on that apex. You don't want to hit those rumble strips because that's going to kick you and then cause a major incident.
Those rumble strips tend to really disrupt these really stiff and tight cars. You definitely lose the grip as that suspension starts to travel up and down, and you don't want that to happen. But as we were riding along, we're right behind the 3 of Jacob Sirkovich going down the front stretch. These guys have been battling for a couple of laps, really keeping it clean. Oh, and as he gets right to, he gets him a touch to the quarter battle. The 3 is gonna save it though, and just barely keep it out of the wall, coming at it too. What great driving by the 3 of Jacob Sirkovich. And as we see that, we have the 94 Sean Hofsteller make a move on the 33 of Stunnard, and he's going to be able to make it stick. So one incident causing a huge jumble back here in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, and they all kept it clean and kept it going. And man, they were like, whew, that was just a real tough, almost. But they came through it good, and the 13 car was able to hold it, and I mean that's great. And now back to racing with the 11, the 33, and the 23 all doing battle, and it looks like for that 15, 16, 17 spot here at Worldwide Technology.
And that just goes to prove sometimes some of the best racing is back in the pack, not for points, but for pride. As the 33 of Justin Stunner is trying to stem the flow and make sure he doesn't lose any more spots, with the 23 of Joey Stires right behind him, the 11 of Presley. But he's going to make a move, the 33 on the 3, going to go really deep into 1. 3 is going to go really wide, but he's going to have the momentum coming off. But it looks like the 33 is going to make it stick and make the pass on the 3, as the 23 looks to capitalize on that mistake of the 3 as well.
2x2 going into the turn there, and the 33 car takes advantage with the 23, 3, and 11 all doing battle for that 14, 15, 16 spot, which is going to be critical for the season.
And Jacob Sirkovich losing more spots, wondering if he might have a little bit more damage than maybe we saw as we were riding on board. But there's the 99 of Dylan Walterman. He's mired back there as well. He's had a struggle all night long. He showed signs he's a great super speedway racer, great plate racer, but the last couple of races have had a bit of a struggle for the 99. He has the speed, he can do it, but looks like he's going to try and make a pass on the 84 of Cody Dorsey. He's going to make and launch off of turn 3 really strong on the inside, but the 84 going to pull away down the front stretch.
Yep, the 84 going in there for the 20th and 21st position there as they're fighting, doing battle here to get inside of that top 20 here at the Worldwide Technology.
And these guys are also racing to the stage break at lap 70. We are 10 laps away from another points paying stage. Everyone really nice and clean, but it looks like the front 3 have kind of spaced themselves out. The 13 of Cedric Connor has about a quarter of a second lead on the 6, and Jason Fensler's about half a second behind the 6 of Mark Whitley. So these guys here have kind of calmed down for now. We've had a longer run than so far we've run tonight, and I think maybe the wear on these tires is starting to show on some of these cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And you take a look at these guys, especially up at the top, you got a 2 to 3 car length lead between the 13, the 6, and the 5, and then 1 car length lead as Ian Baker trying to come up and bring it up along with James Loveland. So they're trying to catch these race leaders, but they're a little spread out here right now.
spread out a little bit, but they're starting to, they tend to, it's tend to flow. Some of them have issues in one corner, some of them have issues in the other, just can't quite hit the marks as they are wanting to hit them. But an interesting development as we watch Jason Fensler in third. He started there. He did start in the pole tonight. He ran really fast, led most of the race, really had great restarts early, but now in traffic, even just so little as third, he cannot seem to keep that speed that he had earlier. That dirty air is definitely disrupting him as we are on board for Ian Baker at that entry into one. You saw him really have to handle and wheel that wheel around, so these guys really have their hands full with these cars.
Yeah, most definitely. You could tell that he is really cranking it when he gets through the turns. He's cranking that steering wheel and trying to, keep his car in line, trying to chase the race leaders.
And you can see him trying to recover as he puts down the power on the pedal as that wheel kind of starts to whip right on him. He's kind of collects it. Look at that, right and left and right, really solid on that wheel there. So these guys not resting easy, and this is for fifth. It looks like he's really, well, I think all of these guys at this point are really messing with tire wear and really just trying to survive for the stage break that's coming in about 5 laps.
Yeah, the crew chief is, the driver right now is screaming and going, I want tires, I want all four. So definitely it's going to be a 4-tire stop for these guys.
And don't forget, we still, again with that stage, it's going to be your restart. Cautions breed cautions, and that is the case tonight. We are 5 cautions, 2 for the stage break. I'm sorry, 2 will be for the stage break. We don't have a caution until then. We've had 3 incidents with involving vehicles, involving damage. Ray Lane being one of those as he hunts down the 8 of Ian Baker going into 3. But you never know what can happen. Tires are a commodity that you want, but with only 3 sets, you got to use them smartly, you got to use them strategically. You don't want to use them too often or too fast, or else that last run in stage 3 is just going to be miserable.
That is true. So especially when you got you're going to have like 60 laps left or so. So yeah, you do want to conserve your tires, and they're probably going to wait to take their last, towards the end of the race, maybe lap 37 or 32, because the next stage is going to be a little longer. We had one driver that is out of the race. It's Trevor Earnhardt. He is the number 25 car. He is 45 laps. So 45 laps ago, he had his problems with an engine, so he will no longer be racing here tonight.
And that is unfortunate, as Trevor is our previous season champion, so him making an early exit from the race due to incident. But as we were riding along, the top 3 have kind of spaced themselves out, and the 5 of Jason Fensler is under attack by the 56 of James Loveland. They go down the backstretch, and James Loveland trying to really get that draft, get that slipstream going into 3. Looks like he has dips his nose about a half a car width lower to kind of get that air on that corner, maybe help that car turn. But as we exit, he's going to be right there. Jason Fensler being able to spread that gap out just a little bit from James Loveland, as he doesn't want to lose another spot. Oh, but he's going to wash up the track there in turn 1. He's going to collect it though and be able to come down to the bottom of the track. That's going to give James Loveland a chance to attack again, but he really able to exit that corner quickly and again recover from a mistake.
Yeah, and right now you want to make sure that you're gonna you're coming close to a stage. You've got to know that, so you maybe just backed off a little bit because he's got to take what you can get, and you don't want to have an incident right now to cause him less points here, especially when a stage is coming to the close.
Definitely. And look at that, the 9, Justice Murphy, another driver that was caught up in an incident earlier in the race, causing a caution, but he has recovered nicely. He has been actually really consistent. He can constantly run in the top 10. So Justice Murphy, I think we're going to have to keep an eye on through the season. He's definitely going to be interesting car as we get to the playoffs. I think he is one of those cars that's going to want to try and point his way in, and watching him run good here in the top 10, looks like he's going to be in 7th at the moment. It's definitely good for him and his playoff hopes at the moment.
Yeah, good recovery and good job being patient and not getting frustrated, making his adjustments to what he needed to do to gain right back up there and get that 7th spot. So good job there, Justice, for a good recovery.
Definitely a good job. And here we are, lap 70. We are expecting the competition caution to wave at any moment. Cars are going to be coming out of 3 and 4. We see Cedric Hunter making the final exit of the stage of 4, making it completion of lap 70. And looks like we are going to have, there it is.
There's the
Caution is going to come out for the stage. So don't no one go anywhere. We have plenty of racing still left to go. Cedric Hunter winning your second stage. Mark Whitley, Jason Fensler coming in third. James Loveland and Ray Lane, the 44, wrapping up the top 5. But we're going to take a quick break. Don't you go anywhere. Make sure you come back and watch the rest of this Freaky Fest broadcast. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Freaky Fest broadcasting presentation of 120 laps here at Worldwide Technology Racing. You saw it next on the side-by-side of the non-stop racing action. We went green. Cedric Hunter, a great launch from the outside of the outside lane, and quickly followed up by the 6 of Mark Whitley and the 5 of Jason Fensler. So the top 3 have not really changed since this stage end, but had a little bit of shuffling back in the pack as we're watching this cluster of cars. 4 of Blake Cook battling with 84, Cordy Dorsey, 21, Christopher Heights there. The 3 of Sirkovich, we saw him have a wonderful save earlier in the race. So these guys really getting to wheeling and dealing. The 84, Cody Dorsey, trying to make a move on the 4 of Cook. It looks like he may be able to make it, but a lot of these drivers now in the 3rd stage, it is all about the race win and the race finish. Billy, what do you think so far? And what do you think about fuel? Do you pit earlier? Do you want to run it as far as you can? Because they are going to have to make a pit stop in this stage.
Yeah, I think, if you're behind, you want to do a short pit. You want to be able to get in, get down pit road, make your changes and see what you can do about running down the race leaders. Sometimes, especially if you're in the backfield, why not? If you could pit when you have enough to make it to the end, go ahead and do it and see what happens. Because most of these guys, they only have 3 sets of tires, so you might as well use them.
Use them indeed and make them work as we're watching the 48 of Parker Johnston, the 21 of Christopher Heights. They're both trying to make moves and move their car forward. It looks like the 21 is going to make the pass on the 84 Cody Dorsey, but as we're seeing there at the left of your screen, the 48 of Parker Johnston trying to make a move on the 19 of Tyler Dangler, and he's going to, looks like they're going to rub doors a little bit there going into 1. They get it sorted out coming out of 2. Looks like Dangler's going to hit the outside wall, and we have cars spinning on the backstretch. We have 84 of Cody Dorsey on the inside wall, and the caution comes out again. This is the 6th caution of the 9th, the 4th for incident. So once again, cautions breed cautions here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and none of these guys really gave an inch there. They were racing really hard and really banging doors there earlier in the corner.
Yeah, there was no patience there. They were trying to get up to the front and trying to move that out of the way. So I think this is where some people are going to take their fast repairs here. As a lot of car damage tonight.
They're going to take it if they have it as we go to the Freaky Fast instant replay, and it looks like the 19, after hitting the wall, it just came down into the track, and the 21 of Christopher Heights couldn't wall it up. The 31 of Ryan Twynham getting caught up in that as well. 84 of Cody Dorsey, so multiple cars involved in this incident. So these guys... And this is in the back of the pack. These guys are just trying to race, just getting one more position, putting themselves in hopefully a better position, like you said, Billy, to maybe short pit, take advantage of some strategy calls. But it looks like some guys are going to come down to pit road, but our top 3 looks like it has changed. We have the 13 of Cedric Hunter and the 5 of Jason Fensler in 2nd. I don't see Mark Whitley up there. I believe Mark Whitley has pit. So Mark Whitley did try to maybe diverge on the strategy before stage 2. Stage 1. He decided to short pit a little bit. So maybe he's trying to maybe open up that strategy. Lap 83 of 120. We are really on the edge of the fuel window. The fuel window is about 36 laps. So Mark Whitley definitely taking a risk here in the final stage of 120 laps. So strategy already coming into play.
Yeah, right there, I think that was a good shot. Because Whitney was pretty fast here, so racing up with the race leaders. So I think, him taking this advantage now, that may be where he's going to excel and maybe take over the lead here, and then should make it for an interesting race, especially for Whitley here.
Well, definitely, and I think maybe a risky move as well. Again, we are on our 6th caution of the night. We've had 4 for incident. Being caught back in the pack could ruin your races. We've seen some of these other drivers. Some have recovered, like the 44 of Ray Lane, like the 9 of Justice Murphy, but just there we have seen other cars succumb to the chaos and have issues later on in the run. So it's really a toss-up 50-50. Yeah, strategy may help, but incidents in the track may not be so forgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're coming down to the nitty gritty. So this is where you're going to either make it or break it. And I think for the 6 car, that's going to be a make or break issue. So we'll see if that happens. I don't think, and the way it's going here tonight, that we're going to see green flag pit stops. I think we're going to see at least, I'm going to predict 4 more cautions before the end of the race. Because these guys are just trying to send it in there, especially in the back. And remember, you got to be patient, but now this is where you got to be more aggressive to try to get up there, especially to gain some points the best you can.
Definitely want to be aggressive, and a company that helps us be aggressive is Advanced Sim Racing. Founded in 2020, Advanced Sim Racing is the fastest growing North American racing simulation chassis manufacturer and digital motorsport equipment retailer. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers like you and me, the company designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. And as freaky fast broadcasters and you and me and all our customers out there, you can use the discount code FreakyFast5 for 5% off your total order at Advanced Sim Racing. Headquartered in Montreal, Canada, Advanced Sim Racing aims to actively contribute to the growth of the racing simulation industry through partnerships with market-leading manufacturers. So definitely hit them up and use the discount code FreakyFast5 for 5% off.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Freaky Fast 5. Don't forget that code. That will get you a great discount on your racing simulator.
And again, by sim racers for sim racers, so they're always trying to help the community out. But here we are at St. Louis. The lights are off on the pace truck. They are side by side. The leader of Cedric Hunter on the outside has had great starts, but 5 at Jason Fensler. This is the first time he's been up front all race long, and he's on the bottom. He was able to get good starts on that outside as well, so this is going to be a great show. Pit truck makes the hard left turn into pit road, and here we go. Green flag is in the air. We are pedal to the metal and launching down the front straightaway. Both the 5 and the 13 get fantastic launches off the line. The 5 still looking on the inside of the 13. They're going to shove it down into 1, and it is going to stick the 13 going a little wide. But here we are fighting back. Looks like the 5 is going to have a little bit of issues on corner exit. He is going to slip back behind the 13 of Cedric Hunter and try and wait for a different moment to make his move.
Yeah, I mean, right there, I mean, that was a good fight there for the lead. Looked like the advantage was to the 13 Cedric Hunter for starting on the outside, which I'm pretty amazed to see that outside working really good, especially after these starts.
And definitely that outside, no one has, I don't think, really volunteered, at least not a lot of people have volunteered to go on that outside line on corner during the turn, but it seems to be that deciding factor on the restarts. But the 13 and the 5 has put about half a second gap between the rest of the field. Ian Baker making a move into third, Ray Lane into fourth. But look at that, Mark Whitley there in fifth. So a little bit of strategy. He decided to fill up there, but he's already in the top 5. The cars in front of him are going to have to pit, so this is already shaping up to be a super interesting third stage as the 56 of James Loveland makes the pass on 38, and we have our 7th caution. Tyler Dangler again in an incident on track. So Tyler Danger really struggling here in St. Louis at the Arch. So another time, a lot of these other drivers, Mark Whitley was started to look like a genius until that caution came out. But here we are, Freaky Fast broadcasting instant replay. We're going to see exactly what happened to the 19. Looks like he was fighting hard with the 52. David Buell in that outside line seemed to do well for him. Looks like the 52, David Buell just kind of gets loose out of the corner, hits the quarter panel of the 19, also sends himself into the outside wall. A lot of these guys are going to be having to use that fast repair. I don't know if the 19 has used it yet or not, but definitely a blow to Tyler Dangler's night.
Yeah, definitely. 3 wide going to that turn, probably not a good idea, but they tried to stick it in there, and that's what caused that big wreck. And it's hard to go 3 wide, especially here in St. Louis.
And we did kind of hit on how narrow the track is earlier on. A lot of these, between the rumble strips and the wall, there's not a lot of room to make mistakes. We have seen some great saves, though, from drivers such as the 3 of Sirkovich. So it can be done, but Billy, that patience you have been mentioning all race long is gone and out the window. These drivers are not leaving anything else on the track. We are within the fuel window. A lot of these drivers are going to be making it, but I think at this point, maybe survival of the fittest at this point.
Yeah, most definitely. Here we are. We got 120 laps, right? The total. We're at lap 90 now. So now you're looking at these laps here. They're coming down. They're almost to the end. So some of these guys are going to have to come down pit road and get their final fuel stop of the night.
And fuel is going to be so important, but I think the 6 of Mark Whitley, I think he will be good on fuel. He did pit on that last caution, so I think he may be fine to go, but a lot of these other drivers gonna be having to make that fuel, make that call. A lot of these drivers are also gonna have been using their tires. There are limited sets available to them, and a lot of these guys have probably used them up, but these guys are really racing hard, and Ian Baker, I think, is making his first break into the top 5, so good night for him. He has started 6th, so he started outside the top 5 and just kind of been hovering there, but he's been able to slowly and methodically move his way towards the front.
So I don't see any race leaders coming down pit road, so it looks like they might be good to go here. Or they're waiting for the next caution, but this is going to be quite interesting to see if these guys can keep it on the track with their tires.
I'd be impressed to see these guys make it. Maybe one more caution would seal the deal and they wouldn't have to come down again. But Billy, the short track, how much can you really save? How much can you really clutch it around this 1.25-mile track to save that fuel?
That's a good question. You know, fuel, I think they're more worried about saving tires than fuel, you know, right now. So saving your tires, maybe some of these guys are maybe driving around in 4th gear. They have a lot of different ways to save fuel too. Some people even shut off their vehicle, you know, or pushing the clutch and just ride it around the track to save the fuel and tires.
Well, remember earlier we did talk about how the 13 into turn 1 and 2 was shifting into 3rd, while the 5 of Jason Fensler does not. That does save a little bit of fuel as well, keeping the RPMs down. Definitely key to that fuel save strategy. So the 5 possibly good to go as well, but definitely this caution really helps a lot of these drivers save that fuel and get ready for the rest of the run. You mentioned it, Billy. You were expecting 4 more cautions. Well, there's the first one. And again, cautions have bred cautions so far tonight as we go side by side. Lights off on the pace truck. These drivers getting ready to go green once more.
I can't wait to get ready to do the interviews post-race, so make sure you guys stick around here on the Freaky Fast Broadcasting Network.
Oh, Billy, you're getting ahead of yourself a little bit. Lap 92, we still have 28 laps of racing to go. It is anyone's game. Cedric Hunter already on the outside lane. That's been the launch point, but Jason Fensler got a great launch last time. These guys are really going at it. Jason Fensler, last restart, also just tried to really nose his way on the inside of turn 1. He did not decide to go through with that move. It was really dangerous early on, especially on cold tires, heat cycle tires. But as the pace truck goes down, makes a hard left onto pit road one more time. Green flag in the hands of Barney, the flagman, and we are off again. Looks like the 13 getting a magnificent start. The 5 having issues on their restart. The 44, well, the outside of the 5 actually, not letting the 5 really open up into that turn 1, but the 5 is going to creep there into that second spot and secure it with the 44 red lane behind him. And the 8 of Ian Baker in 4th, but don't look now, the 6 of Mark Whitley in 5th. Started to play the fuel strategy game early on in the race, and he is making moves, trying to go to the inside of the 8 of Ian Baker.
Yeah, he's trying to get that run, trying to get in there, trying to get back up to where he could lead the race again. Got a little bit some times here to to deal with to get back up there, but it's looking really good. And to see different people up front like Ray Lane and Ian Baker getting up there to the top tonight as well, seeing that 44 machine looks pretty cool.
And definitely, and another car that has made a great comeback is the 9 of Justice Murphy, caught up in an incident early on in the race. You can see him there in that purple and yellow car. There he is. He's also started 18th, and he is now running in 7th. Not only has he made a great recovery after an incident earlier, but he has also run really well here. He didn't have a great qualifying time, but he is sure running down at least some of these times and some of these leaders, as that pack of 6 up there seems to have broken away from this 9 with the 76 of Brad Ringer right behind him. But he has done a really good job for himself and keeping himself in contention for this race.
Yeah, his car looks really clean too as well, so probably had that fast repair and then just taking care of it here in a later stage of the race.
And again, taking care of the car has been key here, as it usually is, but it has been a little more emphatic and definitely more enhanced, and making sure all the fenders stay straight and the doors stay clean on these cars. But right now, as we're looking, the 76 is trying to attack that position and take it from the 9, but the 9 is going to use that middle lane and really get away from one corner exit. So the 9 has a really good setup, a really good line as he tries to pull away from the 76 there going into 3.
Yeah, I mean, having that good line and trying to get in there and trying to keep what he's got going on, the 9 car is doing his best to keep his position, especially number 7.
And then a little behind him, the 38 of James Quattrone. He was up in that 7th position where Justice Murphy is now, but he has fallen back. He's kind of hovered around the top 10. He's gotten some stage points, not a lot, but some. And again, he was kind of in the top 4 of points, so maybe not having the greatest run at the end of the race, but he was able to capitalize earlier on stage points as we watched the 77 of Grant Thorpe trying to make a move on the 76 of Brad Ringer. So look how quickly you can go from being the attacker to being the prey, as the 76 of Brad Ringer looks to defend his position with the 77.
Yeah, they're both coming in there. They're both racing really hard. That 77's trying to go underneath and trying to go above him too. So he's trying to work it out to try to pass him because he thinks he's the fastest car right now over the 76, and it looks like we have a caution.
And this is our 8th caution of the evening, lap 98. And Christopher Heights, the number 21, caught up in another incident. So some of these guys, looks like their tempers are a little flared, really struggling with the rest of this track. But we're going to go to the Freaky Fast instant replay and see what the issue was. We know that the 21 is losing that front clip, but he was chasing down the 23. Joey Stiers, the 84. Cody Dorsey gets into the corner. Just gets into the bumper of the 84 and gets wrapped up by the 24, Nick Alves. And the next thing you know, into the outside wall. That is definitely, I can guarantee he already used that faster bear, but the 26 giving him another whack there at the rear end. So it looks like an unfortunate ending for the 21 tonight.
Here comes the race leader coming down pit, the number 5 car of Jason Fenzer. He's going to make his last pit stop of the night.
That's interesting. You know, I would imagine with all these caution, the fuel would be fine. I wonder if he has one more spare set of tires and he's going to try and use them for this next 20-lap run. He brought a lot of cars with him. We see the 44 of Ray Lane. A lot of these cars taking a gamble late on in the race, probably for tires and not fuel.
This is where the 6 car is going to get the advantage unless he came down pit road. But yeah, here we go. As your third set of tires are definitely going on here.
The 6 car decided to stay out, as did the 13 of Cedric Hunter. So we have 2 cars already, different strategies. Cedric Hunter's had such great restarts from the outside lane. Mark Willey can't quite get the same response and the same hookup out of his car on the restart. So we know he's struggling on those restarts. It looks like he's dealing with a little bit of damage on the front end, but it shouldn't affect him too much. But at this point in the race, who doesn't have a little bit of scuffs on that front bumper?
Yep, and then the front Fenzer now comes up with the 44, so he comes first off of pit road, followed by the 9 car there in the 77.
And that is definitely going to shake up a lot of things. The 5 is really fast, especially on the restarts. We saw him not necessarily neck and neck with the 13, but could definitely hang with him and give him a run for his money. He is going to end up back there quite a bit and behind some slower traffic as well. We have some cars that are in the top 10 we haven't seen. Walterman, we saw him in the back struggling. Hostetler had an issue earlier. Twynham, we've seen him spinning out a little bit. So some of these guys up front aren't necessarily used to being up front, and these are cars Jason Fensler is going to have to pass for this lead. So here we go. These guys really wanting a clean race, especially the 5 of Jason Fensler. Doesn't want to get caught up in anything. He probably still has that fast repair, but doesn't want to use it quite yet.
No, he's done well. Right now, he's got a lot of work to do. He's got to pass 10 cars. He's in the 11th position right now after pit stop, so he has the 4 freshies. That's going to help him here with almost 19 laps to go here at Worldwide Technology.
And, we've noted how aggressive, especially Jason Fensler, he has been, but he's also been able to pull out of a move and not necessarily make the more dangerous move. But now he's around racers that don't quite have that mentality. Look at the 21 of Christopher Heights, still on the track in a beat-up car, but he's still running. So he is on the lead lap and actually in technical position in front of Fensler. So he's going to have to be careful of that. But like I said, a lot of these cars up front haven't been up front really all night long. So a lot of these drivers using strategy to get them in the top 10 and hoping for a miracle to come out tonight, and maybe an issue with the 13 and the 6 as they battle for position.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Cedric. Does he have enough tires to make it to the end? So that's pretty... I don't remember the last time we've seen him down pit road. So that's very interesting to see the 13 car out in the lead. So he must have some good tires and should be able to make it.
Yeah, and I'm getting a report from Zach that Cedric is about 30 lap old tires. Everyone around him on the top 5 at least have 20 laps. So he's already kind of feeling very vulnerable. But he's had such a great restart. The last 2 restarts, he's in control of the field now. I think at least in the first lap or 2, he'll be safe. It's after that, as the tires warm up, the pressures come up on the tires, that it's going to be a real issue for the 13. But as we are looking, they are side by side. Lights are out again on the pace track, and he's going to make that left turn onto pit road as Barney again has a green flag out for our 9th, restart of the race. But the green flag is out, the 13 is off, and we are green again. It's St. Louis, and looks like Cedric Hunter didn't get quite the great restart we have seen these past couple times. So Mark Whitley not falling too incredibly far behind him, but right behind him is James Loveland and Brad Ringer. Brad Ringer we've seen kind of flirting with the top 10 all night long, but he's made his way to the top 5. So definitely a good run for the 76.
Yeah, I mean, that's very surprising up there, making his moves, and now he's making his move for 3rd. So great job tonight out of the 76 machine, Brad Ringer.
And then there's the 56 of James Lovin he was trying to make the pass on. But as we were watching, the 21 gets in the wall. He's just trying to survive. The 99 of Dylan Walterman, he has been mired really back in the pack all night long, but he's finally in 5th. Got his sights on the leader, but the 31, Ryan Twynham, he's had issues. We've seen him go around a couple times tonight. The 44, Ray Lane, he had an issue. He's recovering. Right now, what I'm gathering, I think the 99 car of Dylan Walterman is on the newest set of tires. So he is making those tires work for him as he separates from the rest of the field. Jason Fensler making his way through as well, trying to get past the 31 of Ryan Twynham. The 44, Ray Lane, going through as well. Jason Fensler has his work cut out from this. We only have 15 laps here at this mile-and-a-quarter track.
Yeah, making his way. He's right now currently in 8th, trying to make his way back up to the front, but it's Cedric Hunter who is leading over Mark Whitney here at Worldwide.
and that is not a very big lead. Less than a quarter of a second. The 6 is right on the bumper of that 13. At this point, it really depends on how well the 13 car saved tires. But as we're riding on board, issues for looks like the 94 Sean Hofstetter. Not the first time we've said his name tonight, so he's been struggling. He keeps falling back. We have the 27 Kevin Orlando Jr., 48 of Parker Johnson, also looking to pounce and take that position away from Sean. So unfortunately, circumstance for him, but some of these drivers just trying to survive and others trying to capitalize on positions and mistakes other drivers have made.
Top 3 still continuing to stay alive, but James Loveland now takes over Brad Ringer for that 4th position right now, as James making his way to increase his position.
We've been talking about James Loveland all night. He started in 8th. He's been able to just methodically stay consistent, I think. He's really one of our smoother drivers. Maybe not one of the faster ones, but he can definitely hold his own on tires. And he does seem to find a way at these tracks that require a little bit of finesse and brake. As we see, as I'm talking about him, he has an issue and has to fall back. So does the 5 of Jason Fensler. So the 76 going to capitalize on that mistake and take that position back away from the 5 as they go deep into turn 1. It looks like Jason Fensler going to try and turn back underneath them, coming out of 2.
Yeah, coming out of 2, trying to make his spot around the 76 machine. Looks like going in the 3 and 4 here, and then he will make it as he'll pick up that position from the 76. So he's making his way back up, and he's got a couple more laps to go here at WW.
And then here we are. We just saw there the 44 of Ray Lane making a pass on the 6 of Mark Whitley. 44 is the highest car with newest tires, followed by the 5 of Jason Fensler. He also has those 4 new tires. Mark Whitley has about 20-25 lap old tires. Cedric Hunter with the oldest tires at 35 laps, but he is leading, but not for long if Ray Lane had his way. He is really charging hard. He is less than a quarter of a second, and now as I talk, he is on the bumper of the 13 with those fresh tires. He is looking to make a pass here. He dips his nose out. He's thinking about it, but he decides to maybe wait until the next corner because this turn 1 can be so tricky making a pass.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where you want to watch it and be careful, especially coming up that turn. And still, probably about a little bit, half a car length between the 1st and 2nd, as this heat is getting hotter here between Chad Hunter and Ray Lane.
Cedric Hunter and Ray Lane definitely battling it out. Looks like Ray Lane can get to the bumper, but he's trying to find some fresh air, and he is going to try and maybe launch off of 4 a little bit better, but he cannot make that stick. But the 5 of Jason Fensler moving up as well, making that pass into third, passing the 6 machine. A little bit of a bump from 44 of Ray Lane into Cedric Hunter. Looks like Ray Lane lost a lot of time there, and he's going to be under attack by Jason Fensler any minute now. But right now, with that mistake, Cedric Hunter coming out to a substantial lead in the closing laps of this race.
Yeah, it looks like a tractor-trailer lead, as that opened up pretty far with those two going at it. But here comes the 5 car. He's going to try to make this interesting here with a couple laps to go here. St. Louis.
And this is interesting. You're watching right now the top 2 cars with the freshest tires. So you really have to be careful how hard you push it, because you want to be able to save enough to catch that 13 of Cedric Hunter with less than 10 laps to go. We're at 9 to go now, going into 3. Ray Lane seems to be actually reeling the 13 back in slowly but surely, but he is definitely wanting to charge back and attack the 13 again with the 5 in his mirror. 5 looks like he's maybe hanging back just a little bit, not really trying to push it too hard. But as we watch the 44 again creep ever closer to the 13, he's going to try again and make a pass with 8 to go.
Yeah, these top 3 cars battling back and forth all night tonight. And, man, that 5 car, Jason Fensler trying to come in there and try to catch that 44, where the 44 is trying to catch that 13.
And as we're watching, the 44 gets again right to the bumper of the 13. Sticks his nose out to the inside just a little bit, going into one. Doesn't quite have the run. He's going to get on the brakes. Ooh, here he is to get to the quarter panel. Is right there, the 13's door, and they are going to exit the corner. Still side by side, but maybe the 13 pulling away. The 44 not able to quite open up that corner like he wants, but 44 again trying to make an attack, but they're lurking in the back is the number 5 of Jason Fensler. It's not over until it's over, and Jason knows that as well as anyone. With, here we go, 6 laps to go.
Yeah, and it looks like the 6 car, Mark Whitney, he is dropping off further as having issues with those tires that he took earlier on today. And now here comes the 5 car trying to get up to the 44 car and the 13. Man, what a battle here for the lead.
And interesting about Mark Whitley, his tires are fresher than our leaders, and our leader hasn't pulled away, but he hasn't fallen back either. So definitely interesting fluctuations on the tires. Like you said, Mark Whitley fading a little bit even with the newer tires, so maybe he was able, or maybe he burned them up a little earlier. But as we're watching this pack with the 76 in the 8s, the 56 of Loveland was up there. He made a mistake, had an issue. He has fallen back a couple of positions since the restart of this stage, but the 44 battle over the lead is heating up again. The 44 all over the bumper of the 13.
4 laps to go here, and they are charging, man. This is looking pretty good for the race lead, with Cedric Hunter holding his ground, trying to keep his marks and hitting his marks to keep that lead from going. Ray Lane right there trying to do it, and Jason Fensler, man, on a mission trying to catch that 44.
And I think you hit on it there, Billy. Cedric is just so smooth. Doesn't look like those older tires are affecting him nearly as much. And as this run has gone on, now we're 4 to go. Those newer tires seem to have balanced out. Cedric Hunter's been able to hold off just about any charge from the 44. It looks like the 44 overcooks turn 3 just a little bit, but the 44 has the 5 of Jason Fensler behind him, and Fensler, if he wants to be anywhere near the front to make it pounce on the 13, he needs to get by that 44. 3 to go. Now or never to make a move.
Now or never. As they used to say, wreckers or checkers. So right now he's got to keep going and now pursue and try to gain some time, or otherwise the show might be over.
And again, 3 to go. We have 13, Cedric Hunter. He's led about the last half of this race. Then second, the 44 of Ray Lane with fresher tires by about 30 laps or so. Behind him, the 5, our pole sitter, our fastest car through the first half of this race. So this has been definitely a mixture and jumble of cars and strategies tonight. But so far, older tires have prevailed, but looks like the 44 tried to get to the bumper of the 13, maybe dive it in there just a little bit, and now the top 3 cars are all bunched together. You can cover them with the blanket. We are coming through 344 is gonna make a move. He's gonna get right on that bumper again, taking that outside line, but
here
the 13 nice and smooth. The 5 of Jason Fensler making a move on the 44 as we come to our freaky fast white flag. 1 to go here at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Yeah, and here they come. They're coming into turn 1 with the 13 with the lead. Cedric Hunter, followed by Ray Lane. And here it is. Look at this. Jason Fensler trying to catch the 44. Hits the little bumper there and tries to make a move to get that second spot.
Jason Fensler tried to make a move, decided better against it, kind of lost the car. Figures third would be better than nothing. And as we go through 3rd and 4 for the penultimate time, our top 3 you see on the screen, it'll be Cedric Hunter in the 13, 44 of Ray Lane making a move. Oh, we have a wreck coming across the start finish line. The 5 of Jason Fensler looks like he's going to cross the finish line first. With the 13 of Cedric Hunter finishing second, and then, oh man. Oh, Mark Whitley's going to take that 3rd spot. Oh, Billy, you said it. Checkers or wreckers, and I think we just got both.
That was exciting. I am just jumping out of my seat to see this. Let's go with the freaky fast replay right here.
And as we queue up that Freaky Fest instant replay, we see some issues with the 13. He all of a sudden slowed coming out of that corner. I'm wondering if he was starting to run out of fuel. Oh, look at this. He had such a strong rolling through the center of the corner. Ray Lane gets there all of a sudden, and the next thing you know, he's a little loose. Takes him up the track, but then all of a sudden he just loses speed. The 5 adjacent fencer catches him, just like almost like he lost power, ran out of fuel. But here we are, hits them both in the rear end, spins the 44 out of contention there as they race down. The 13 is going to whack the 5, and the 5 is going to go spinning sideways across the start finish line, as is the 13. And it looks like, yes, we have confirmation. The 13 of Cedric Connor ran out of fuel at that exit of the corner. So that's causing the calamity here at Raid's End. But right now, I am seeing the 6 of Mark Whitney taking that 3rd position. So, calamity in the closer, but definitely an exciting ending to this race here at Worldwide Technology.
Yeah, who would have thought that we would see something like that? A great ending to a great race tonight. And, what can you say, man? That was just a blast to see, and upsetting that, the 13 car just ran out of fuel at the last moment. So it's going to be fun to see these guys in the broadcast booth here very shortly. But what a great race.
Definitely a great race, and we will get with our top 3 finishers in a little bit. But until then, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have our post-race interviews with our top 3 finalists. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Freaky Fast broadcast at Worldwide Technology Raceway. We have just concluded 120 laps of really hard racing, and we just finished a remarkable nail-biter of a race. But so, enough of me. Let's get with our top 3 finalists of Mark Whitley. As we get him up here just a little bit. Don't see how I can get him up, so give us just, there we go. Mark Whitley, welcome to the booth, man. It's Carl and Billy. Great race. How did that go? Messing with some fuel strategy and some tires and ending up 3rd at that last wreck.
Yeah, first run, felt like I kind of used the right front up a little bit, and Cedric and Jason kind of both pulled away. Second run, me and Cedric were able to get in front of Fensler, and so I don't know, I just started running a little bit different line or whatever. But the car handled a lot better throughout the whole run, and pretty much stayed with Cedric there all the way up until the very end. And yeah, that last stage, I was figuring, we're all so close on just pace that whoever got in front was going to probably be able to stay out in front. So I was just trying to throw some weird strategy at it. I thought we might be good, but on the after we pitted, there was a big checkup on that restart, and I wound up getting nose damage and knocked the radiator in pretty good because the water and oil temps were really high the whole night. So that whole last 30 laps of that stage, I had to watch the water temp because if I got too good of a run off four, the water temp was going red, so I couldn't downshift like I wanted to get a better run through the center. So it was just kind of about surviving to the end. And hindsight, maybe I should have pitted there on that last caution, but I figured we'd get another one, and just didn't ever happen. And I was content running fourth, and I was hoping they were going to wreck each other, but all of them are so talented. I figured no way that was going to happen. And come off of four, and all of a sudden I see them weaving, and they're sideways, and I'm just trying to figure out the best line to get through there to see if I can't get another spot or two, and able to get by Lane. And third place, not too bad. Car's a little beat up, but all in all, pretty good.
So your last pit strategy, were you trying to do a short pit, and then see what you could do coming in early and just staying out for the remainder? It looks like that's what you did.
Yeah, we were just trying to. I figured we were been going green for the stages, so I figured there wasn't no way we were going to make it on gas. So as soon as that caution came out, and it was going to be about 34-ish to go when we went green, and that's about how long we did earlier in the race. So I figured, well, all right, we can make it from here. I got one extra set after this, so in case we need a pit. So went ahead, short pitted, got 10 lap fresher tires, and my goal was just going to be to sit there and ride and maybe just pick my way through the field with the fresher tires. But like I said, on that restart, we got checked up and nose got pushed in, so it didn't handle as good, and the water temp kind of. So the whole last run, the original plan got thrown out the window, and it was more of a survival, just trying to see what I can do. And the initial goal was just to go ahead and get tires, get gas, and hopefully it went green, because then they would have had to pit under green, and we could have passed them all and been setting sail. But all the cautions kind of threw our plan out the window. But like I said, plan didn't work, but the backup plan, just riding there, sitting there, worked pretty good.
Well, sometimes plan B is all you need, Mark. You've had a really good run so far this season. What can you expect next week at Richmond?
Well, Richmond's more of a track I actually kind of like. Haven't run it in the Xfinity in a while, but this track, I've run it probably 4 or 5 different cars at this point. I'm not a huge fan on it. Especially turn 1 and 2. It's just I can't really figure it out. Richmond, I feel like I have a better handle on it, so I feel like we'll probably have a better chance to be up front and lead some laps and actually be in control of the race. Hero was just kind of about trying to race the Cedric and Fensler, but they probably were a little bit faster the longer the run went. So I feel like we might have a better shot at Richmond, hoping to go there and maybe get a third win on the season.
Great stuff. Anyone you want to make a shout out, Mark?
Quick shout out, Harpoon Designs, putting this great paint scheme on the car. Angry Duck Graphics for being the sponsor on the car. We want to get a custom t-shirt made, go check them out, shopangryduck.com, and there's no order limits. So you just want to go in there, make one shirt and buy one shirt, and you can do it. So check them out. And big shout out to my family, always tuning in these broadcasts. They're always a great support group. And then got to thank y'all for putting on a great broadcast. They're one of the best broadcasters on iRacing through and through. So always fun to go back and watch the race.
Thanks
Awesome.
a lot, Mark. And
problem,
congratulations, and we'll see you next week at Richmond.
And that was Mark Whitley, our third place finisher. Up next will be Cedric Connor, the number 13 in second place. Cedric, great race. You definitely dominated the second half. That outside line on the restarts definitely worked for you, but it looks like you ran out of fuel towards the end there. How did that work out for you?
I mean, I finished second. Not exactly where I would have liked to finish, but I mean, that was probably one of the hardest races that I've ran in a while, just with the old tires and having to fend off most of the field there was nerve-wracking. And the fact that I got a pole is super exciting. I haven't gone a pole in any league in probably close to a year. Anybody that follows me knows that I am not the person to hot lap, and I mean, you kind of saw it in the first, qualifying on pole and then instantly losing the lead and kind of falling back to a second behind Fensler. my pace on the short run definitely needs work, but tonight it was there a little bit, and it was good. Typically, I think that if I'm decent on the short run, then I definitely have the pace throughout the whole run, and thankfully I was able to get the lead on uh, one of those pit stops, and then kind of just hold it off until 5 laps, or until I guess the last lap. So
Yeah, good racing. This is Billy in the booth. Yeah, maybe running that Lakers car tonight was a good paint scheme for you. Looked pretty sharp. Do you regret, coming down the pit road? I mean, you were doing really good on fuel and tires, so I was expecting to come in there, coming in pit. But how did you save your tires and fuel?
well, I guess when Mark pitted with like 10 laps into that run, I thought that was too early. Just based on like what the tire fall off and everything like that, I wasn't expecting him to drive through the field, and well, later to find out that he had damage, so that's kind of halted his progress. And then and then I was kind of basing the tires and stuff like that off of Mark. So when I saw that he stopped gaining on me, and then the caution flew out for the second one, I was like, okay, well, the fresh tires have evened out. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue if I do stay out again. The pace still seems to be there, and if I didn't have good long run pace, I would have been in way bigger trouble. So I do kind of regret it a little bit. I think that I could have put myself in a better position, but it seemed like tonight, all night, it was just track position was key. So I did what I could. It was just unfortunate. I kind of miscalculated the fuel there. With about 6 laps to go, I was coming out of turn 2, and my spotter, the in-game spotter, said I have 5 laps of fuel left, and I just like, oh, this is not good. Yeah. And so from that point on, I was clutching into the corners, just trying to save that extra little bit, man. I was, 50 to 75 feet short. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, I still finished podium. So it could have gone far worse. And hopefully I just put on a good show. That's, hopefully it was good and it was entertaining. And yeah, because it was certainly a good race from inside the car.
It was definitely a great show, Cedric. We have Richmond next week. What are you expecting? What are you planning for?
I honestly have no idea how the Xfinity cars drive. I know I'm pretty decent there, so hopefully it kind of turns out like tonight, and we have short run pace, long run pace, and hopefully I could finally stop finishing. Well, I mean, I guess it's only my second week here, but 2 second place finishes. Hopefully I can get that first one at Richmond.
Definitely want to get that first one. Great having you on here, Cedric. Anyone you want to make a shout out tonight?
Yeah, I want to shout you guys out. As always, you guys always put on a good show. Welcome Billy into the booth. Carl, it's good to see you back on in the booth as well. And thank you to all the fans out there, all the drivers. I want to apologize to Ray Lane there on the coming to the checkered. It was. I was still trying to race even though I had no fuel. I was kind of trying to block and get them to push me across the line. Good old Ricky Stenhouse back at Richmond years ago, and unfortunately he got the short end of the stick there. So I'm glad he still had a decent finish. Just unfortunate because he kind of had that win in the bag there. So good run to him and to Defensor as well, and congratulations to him for winning the race.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you next week. Can't wait. Good luck, my friend, and we'll see you up in the booth hopefully next week.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, hopefully.
All right.
And that was from Cedric Hunter, our second place finisher. But let's pull in the winner of tonight's race, the 5 of Jason Fensler. Hey, Jason, how's it going? How's it feel to be able to make that run on those 4 fresh tires and have Cedric run out of fuel right in front of you?
I'm still trying to process it all, to be honest with you. After the first couple of weeks, to finally have some luck go our way, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, I've noticed that you took the Highline, when you did your restarts, when you were up in the restarts. So riding the Highline, was that a big advantage for you?
Well, it just seemed to help a little bit, to get squirted off at 2 on restarts. And then if you start on the bottom, you really got to kind of pay attention to how hard you run it into 1. You want to run into the guy on the outside of you. So just kind of figured that was a little bit of an advantage to try and and start on the top. But track position was so important in this race. Once we lost control of it at the end of that first stage, I was just gonna kind of ride it out. It was, real difficult to pass.
And you definitely had your work cut out for you at all the passing. But Jason, next week we have Richmond, another track that can be hard to pass at. How do you plan on attacking that track next week?
I kind of like that place. It's a short track, so it kind of, you can manipulate the cars and make them turn. So we'll look forward to it. Hopefully, we got just as much speed as we've had in the first three races, and kind of carry this momentum and finally get our luck turned around.
Well, that is definitely a good idea to try and get the luck turned around. Tonight is a great sign of things to come. So thank you, Jason. Do you have anyone you want to make a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, just my friends and family for tuning in. You guys with the broadcast, you do a great job every week. So really enjoy that. So that's about it. We'll look forward to Richmond next week.
All right, we'll see you next week. Congratulations on your win tonight. And yep, next week, man, Richmond. So it should be fun.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
And that was our race winner, the number 5 of Jason Fensler. So, Billy, this is your first week with us at Freaky Fraz Broadcasting, but we are going to go through the list and the finishing order, and we're going to start out. We know the number 5 of Jason Fensler finished first, the 13 of Cedric Hunter in second, and Mark Whitley in third. Ray Lane, a tough break. Really didn't go his way in fourth. Ian Baker there in fifth, fought hard all night long. Brad Ringer there in sixth, Justice Murphy in seventh, Grant Thorpe in eighth, James Loveland in ninth, and then Kevin Orlando Jr. in 10th. Dylan Walterman, he struggled early on but recovered really well in 11th. Justin Stunnard in 12th, Blake Cook in 13th, Martin Morales in 14th, Parker Johnson in 15th, Jacob Sirkovich in 16th, James Quattrone in 17th, Nick Alves in 18th, Peyton Presley in 19th, and then Ryan Twynham rounding out your top 20. And then in 21st, we have Joey Stiers, 22nd, Tyler Dangler, 23rd, Sean Huffstutler, 24th, Cody Dorsey, 25th, David Buell, 26th, Scott Kerberg, 27th, Christopher Heights, 28th is 80 Wildermuth, and then 29th, Trevor Earhart. So we had a really great turnout tonight and had some really great racing. Billy, as your first broadcast, how do you think it went? How do you think that racing was?
The racing was intense, especially the last 5 laps. Just great racing. It ended up in an incident, but man, you just got to be on your P's and Q's and never give up, and you never know what could happen. And especially for Jason Fencer, who comes out there, who could have finished third or fourth, but he comes up and takes it for the victory lane tonight.
Well, it's great to have you, and we have so much more action-packed racing. Don't forget, fans, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Don't worry, we have broadcasts regularly. Catch me and Billy next week for Underdog Racing Series at Richmond. Same time, same place. I'm going to toss it back up to our producer, Robert Moyer, and a special thanks to Zach for helping us keep all these ducks in a row. So, again, good night, everyone. Robert, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Carl. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that takes it here from Gateway. Hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's show here at Underdog Racing League every Wednesday night at 8:30. And wow. Well, we seen how the finishing was. Run out of gas. And, Cedric, you bring home second place. You wanted that first place. And you almost had it. And, need to save just a little bit more gas. And like you guys said, Jason Fensler could have finished in fourth position with Ray Lane right there, and unfortunately we had a debacle at the finish line. And there's a little screenshot when you go back and watch this. Ian Baker kind of went for a outer space fly across the start finish line to wind up finishing fifth, is where he winded up in the air across the start finish line, finishing in the top 5. So, wow, congratulations to him. But I also want to give a big thank you to Vance Sim Racing and also ButtKicker and iRacing for being proud sponsors here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and we do much appreciate them sticking aboard with us here. And helping us out throughout the season of last year and then all of a 2022 season. But our next televised broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, will be tomorrow night with Stars and Stripes, when we'll have Sam Dyers, Zach Hall up in the booth calling all the action tomorrow night at 9:20 as they got some good racing going on. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 9:30. We do much appreciate it. But until then, we want to say here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, like we do always, God bless everybody. We love yous all. Peace out.